Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Clarissa Shields, man, what little bit of her brand she has left. Because look, she's never going to lose her whole brand, but she's lost 99% of it. But those gold medals matter, so she will always have a brand. But it seems to be a huge gamble going on because of a lot of the destruction that she's caused herself in Korea, and Papoose too. He has a lot to do with it. But if you say that, all she's going to say is, man, please, you haters. And maybe some people do hate on her. I'm not. I just have conversations. Sometimes I have things to say that some people disagree with because I'm being positive. Sometimes I have things to say where I'm keeping it real and she don't like because she'd rather hear me say something positive. But I think it's a brand gamble. So I just want to know, this way they're approaching her next fight, is it going to blow up? Could blow up in a positive way. Could blow up in a bad way. Could be genius or a big mistake. So boxing and entertainment. So let's do this. Let's get rid of me. Let's stretch this out so we can focus on the conversation. Now, every great athlete eventually reaches a point in their career where people stop asking one simple question. And that simple question is, can they win? They stop asking it. With Claressa Shields, we no longer ask that. The question with Clarissa has become bigger. What do they represent? And this is where Claressa Shields appears to find herself today. So regardless of where someone ranks her among the greatest women boxers, her accomplishments inside the ropes are substantial. She became a two-time Olympic gold medalist, won world titles across multiple weight classes, and built a resume that places her among the most decorated women in boxing. Yet, in modern sports, greatness inside the arena is only part of the equation, which she and her team don't seem to understand. Today's elite athletes are judged on three separate scorecards: athletic performance, business value, and public image. Those three categories do not always move together, as in Clarissa Shields' situation. Some athletes become more popular than they are accomplished. Others become more accomplished than they are popular, and the rare athlete successfully builds all three simultaneously. We're going to find out about that tomorrow at the BET Awards. Today's discussion is not primarily about whether Clarissa Shields can fight, because I always say she can fight. Everyone knows that. Her record answers that question, right? But instead, today's discussion, I want to ask, what happens when one of the sport's most accomplished champions chooses a promotional path that divides opinion, which is what happened with her, deviating from just staying with Demetrius Salita and bringing Win Records on and now getting involved with ZEUS, the ZEUS network. So the modern athlete also, they are also a brand. All athletes are a brand, and Clarissa is a brand. 25 years ago, winning championships was often enough to secure widespread recognition. It's not the case anymore. The sports landscape is different. An athlete is no longer evaluated by only championships, and I think we all agree with that. Sponsors, broadcasters, streaming platforms, and promoters often ask additional questions. Does this athlete attract viewers? I think the verdict's still out on Clarissa. Can this athlete sell tickets? The verdict's still out. They'll tell you in Detroit she does, but I mean, outside of that, who knows? And there's still a big question mark over that. Will brands feel comfortable partnering with them? I think the verdict's still out on that. And can they attract audiences beyond hardcore sports fans? And this is where it gets interesting. You see, but I said all that to say this. That's why the concept of personal branding has become central to professional sports. And that's why Layla Ali tried to tell her. A lot of content creators talk about things. Everyone's delivery is a little bit different. Some people like mine, some people like others. But I've talked, I think I've been pretty passionate and I've even kind of exhausted myself talking about these things. Personal branding. But I ain't the first one to bring it up. Clarissa's heard about it. She knows about it. And she's doing what she thinks is best for her personal brand. It's just 99% of us don't agree. Because, see, a brand is more than a logo or nickname. It is the overall impression people have when they hear someone's name. And for athletes, that impression develops through many factors: your performance, interviews, conduct, rivalries, community involvement, social media consistency. Every appearance contributes to the public image. You are always being evaluated. Think about Clarissa's performances in the ring. She's being evaluated. The type of interviews she's done. I'll just leave that alone. Because you guys know, because you guys have seen them. How she conducts herself. I mean, come on now. The type of rivalries. Makes you think about Baumgartner, her slapping her. Community involvement. Where? What? The little bit they show, man, to just her to go out there and try to fool and bamboozle the public. Where's the consistency? She ain't Sean Metcalf. She's really out there in the community. And the other one, Tierra Brown, she's really out there in the community. Amanda Serrano's really out there in the community. Then you think about social media presence and whether they're being consistent in those areas. So you see, she's always being evaluated, and every appearance contributes to the public image. What is her public image right now? And this ain't me trying to poke nobody in the eyeball. I mean, this is just being real, right? That's why people need to understand, especially someone like Clarissa Shields, brands matter more than ever. Championships have value. Brands often create financial opportunities beyond competition. Large endorsements, these type of deals frequently depend on more than athletic ability. You got some companies who may ask, man, does this athlete appeal to our customers? Can we confidently feature them in advertising? Does their public image align with our company? Most of these traditional companies, Clarissa does not align with any of them when you think about her appearances and how they contribute to a public image. But for Win Records, does every appearance she's made contribute to the public image of what they want represented and representing their company? I think yes. But the bottom line is this explains why athletes across many sports devote time to media training, public appearances, and reputation management. Clarissa hasn't done that. But then again, she kind of has this outlet with ZEUS Network. You see, winning attracts attention, but maintaining trust often attracts long-term businesses. But when you lose the trust and you're no longer attracting long-term businesses the traditional way, you got to figure out a non-traditional way to still grow. And that's what I think has happened here. And it's a brand gamble. Because ZEUS creates such a different conversation. The reported partnership with ZEUS has generated discussion because it represents a different promotional environment from traditional boxing broadcasts, like I've been saying. Some fans view this as an innovative attempt to reach audiences who might not otherwise watch championship boxing and Clarissa Shields. Others question whether the association changes how boxing is perceived and what's going to happen with women's boxing in the future. Because Clarissa is one of the main faces, some say the main face, of women's boxing. Now, this difference of opinion exists because sports audiences are not all looking for the same experience. Traditional boxing fans often prioritize. So the champion right here, rankings, championships, technical skill, historical significance. But then when you start thinking about that entertainment-focused audience, which is what they seem to be zooming in on, They're going to prioritize personalities. That's why the celebrities on there, the Ray J's, the Orlando Browns, and these other people who are going to be in the crowd. The entertainment focused audience, they're going to prioritize on those personalities. They want the drama. They want celebrity appearances. They want to go to the boxing match and see all these different A-listers and rappers and all these different famous people. They want social media moments. They want crossover events. But I got to understand that neither audience is inherently right. They simply consume sports differently. The challenge for any promoter is finding a balance that appeals to both groups. That's what they seem to be trying to do. But I just have I just think we got to let it play out. How about that? Because boxing is all about the prize. It's called prize fighting. You got to figure out a way to make the money. But this is a huge gamble because if they hit a home run, then maybe that's good. If they make a bunch of millions of dollars and they have the event that's successful, there's no violence, there's no nonsense, it's controlled, then that could be seen as a win. But one thing for sure is you're going to get entertainment because we're already being entertained by the idea of this fight card that they're putting on, actually, being executed. And some critics argue that celebrity involvement represents a departure from boxing. I think that's what I think. History suggests that the picture is more complicated than that. Professional boxing has always involved storytelling, like I said earlier. And then you think about just all these big name fighters, man, who are crossover celebrities, had the certain personas and had the shit talk and had certain auras about them. It helped attract audiences beyond dedicated boxing fans. And that seems to be what they're trying to do here with Clarissa and with this fight card. And that's the role of social media. The attention spreads faster than ever. Moments outside the ring can generate as much conversation as the contest itself. And this creates opportunities, but also challenges. And that's why I think with Clarissa, they didn't strike the right balance. She just went all in about generating controversy, conversation about herself. But now you got the contest is here, and there's a lot of people who were there, they were expecting to show support that no longer support. So that's why they're going a non-traditional route to figure out, okay, we need to find a new audience because this ain't working out the way we planned. And those are the challenges associated with trying to make someone a villain. But at the end of the day, a lot of the younger generation and the old head that's only about the Wu-Tang cream, cha-ching, ching, dollar bill, y'all, they see opportunity, man. Supporters of crossover events make several arguments. One, new audiences. Many people who discover an event because of celebrity participants may remain to watch championship boxing. Now, from a promotional perspective, that can expand the sport's reach. And you talk about media coverage. Celebrity involvement often attracts attention from entertainment outlets that would not normally cover boxing. That can increase awareness of the event. The downside to the media coverage is what has happened here, where a lot of people consider the guys who create YouTube videos about boxing part of media. But this whole thing about K. Scott and the history with the trauma and all that. Well, I mean, you got everybody covering it. You got the entertainment outlets who wouldn't normally cover boxing. Well, now they're covering it, and they're going to probably address the fact that she's fighting an opponent that seemed to be damaged goods. You know what I'm saying? So there's pros and cons, and I don't think they really weighed all that shit out because they're just thinking about the attention and the media coverage by incorporating that entertainment element. They're also looking at sponsorship possibilities. They know if the audience numbers grow, there could be sponsor opportunities that follow. And if there's going to be some kind of sponsor or sponsorship opportunities that follow, I mean, you better believe they're going to consider this a success and look to do it again. But I'm going to tell you something. Although it seems full of drama and bullshit to a lot of us, companies often evaluate audience size alongside competitive success. So they will look at all of that. But again, they're not going to want to attach themselves to a bunch of drama unless they are also about that kind of drama. And then the other one is financial growth, man. This is why people look at the opportunity and see a way to make some money. Higher viewership can potentially support larger purses and improve production in future events. These possibilities explain why promoters across combat sports continue experimenting with crossover formats. This is an experiment, and they're hoping to cash in big. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of boxing fans who are skeptical, and no matter what happens with the event, they're going to remain skeptical. You know what I'm saying? Traditional boxing supporters, we raise different concerns. We worry about championship boxing, how it could become overshadowed by the entertainment elements. And we start asking a bunch of questions, man. Will people remember the title fight or the celebrity appearances? Does the promotional focus remain on athletic achievement? Or are we diluting boxing? Are we strengthening boxing's identity? What are we doing about the women's boxing's identity and the direction women's boxing has gone and how they're in a great space with being respected now? Are we diluting that? Are we taking away with that from that? Are women going to be just seen as, as just a waste of time? Women have it hard enough. So why in the world would somebody want to go the direction that Clarissa's taking, especially when she came here talking about she's an advocate for women and want women to make the same kind of money as men? You want, before that any of that can happen, there needs to be respect. Is Clarissa and her team doing the type of thing that's going to, earn respect when it comes to women's boxing? Or are they taken away from it? We know sports evolve, and we know fans are going to debate where the balance should be. That's why I do these videos. It's just a conversation. But I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, it's doing more damage than good. Even though it's showing there could be a different way to make money for women, it's getting caught up in the entertainment element and bringing the two different worlds together, traditional boxing and entertainment, but too negative, man. It doesn't help the ladies. And that's why I think there's a huge branding risk, even for Clarissa Shields. Because, see, brand strategy frequently involves trade-offs. Every new audience gained may come with existing supporters who feel uncertain about the direction. That does not automatically make the decision right or wrong. It simply means every strategic choice carries opportunity and risk. And you got to be able to balance that. For Clarissa Shields, observers will likely evaluate several outcomes. Did the event attract new fans? If you ask her, she's going to say, man, please, of course it did. Did existing boxing fans embrace it? She's going to tell you the same thing. Man, please, everybody loved it. Did media coverage emphasize the championship or the surrounding entertainment? That's a big one. I want to see the media coverage, if they're going to be focused on the boxers who are going to be on the card, if there are going to be any outside of Clarissa and Kay Scott, or if they're going to be caught up with the surrounding entertainment. Who's in the crowd? Are they going to be out there, man, fanning out and shit like that? Are these fighters who are on the card going to be overshadowed? It can happen. But the one thing, is this event going to strengthen Clarissa Shields' public image and make it better? Or is it going to continue to complicate things and hurt her? Now, I'm no soothsayer, and I got a crystal ball. I rub it every now and then and shit. But those answers will become clearer only after the event takes place. But we can conversate, we can speculate, we can make assumptions, dialogue, do a prediction. But we really got to wait to see after the event takes place and do a hot wash and talk about what went right, what went wrong. But let me just say this. Different audiences coexisting. Can they do it? And this is one of the biggest questions surrounding this crossover event. Whether the different audiences can successfully share the same platform. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm just trying to think about me sitting in a crowd where I'm normally there with a bunch of boxing fans and we talking shit about boxing and whatever. and we're hyped up for the fight. I'm trying to imagine me sitting there with a bunch of fans who are there for the baddies, the Ray Jays, the Orlando Browns. I'm just trying to imagine several groups attending the same show. You got lifelong boxing fans, casual sports viewers, celebrity followers, reality television audiences. You got families, social media creators. You got all kind of shit going on. Then you got the drunks and everything in between. I think each arrives with different expectations. A successful event finds a way to satisfy multiple audiences without losing its core identity. But what if the audience ain't gelling? You understand? You got oil and water trying to mix out there. So now you got this huge balancing act. It's one of the biggest challenges in modern sports promotion, which is to make sure everyone in the crowd is safe and people are all getting along and people are satisfied and enjoying the show. But you may get where there's some people who show up and leave early after they come to see what they want to see. That's why you got to understand, if the majority of people it's coming to see the ZEUS shit, you probably should have put them on last. Because Clarissa Shields, yeah, she's the main attraction supposedly, but most people, since this is on the ZEUS network, they're coming to see the baddies. And they're coming to see old Ray J and boxing against old Crazy Man and shit. Orlando Brown. And that's just why I think you guys, we all need to understand the importance of this main event, regardless of the undercard, right? You would think that when you're talking traditionally, history often remembers the headline fight. But in this situation, history is probably only going to remember the co-main, which is really the main draw, Tasiki against Big Lex. And then underneath them is probably going to be the Rage and Orlando Brown. That's what everyone's going to be talking about. They're not going to be talking about Claressa Shields. And believe you me, she needs a knockout. But when the dust settles, I wonder what the conversation is going to be. Because you would think the relationship would be complementary, where everyone benefits equally. I just don't see it that way. I think ZEUS Network benefits. I think the baddies benefit. I think the entertainers on the benefit. And I'm just not so sure about Clarissa Shields because, again, the audiences aren't the same. Maybe the audience likes Clarissa. I don't know. But I think Clarissa has been more embraced by the traditional boxing audience. But we're going to find out what's really going on, you know what I'm saying? Because Clarissa's the main event. And normally, people come out specifically for that main event. And they want to see the undercards too, but it's the main event. But in this case, from what I'm hearing, they're not coming for Clarissa. And I think once she realized that, and especially if people leave, she's going to feel the kind of way. So the upcoming event with Big Will, man, is generated discussion because, like I'm saying, to me, it seems like it's sitting at the intersection of two worlds. Traditional championship boxing, which is me, and this modern entertainment marketing, which I understand, but that ain't me. That ain't my thing. I'd rather just see the traditional shit. But some believe this approach represents innovation and the direction things are going, man. You know what I mean? Old Papoose, Clarissa, Wen Rex, and Demetrius Salita could be trendsetters. But then there are others worrying about preserving boxing's competitive identity and thinking about the integrity of women's boxing and just what Clarissa Shields is doing to destroy that or denature that. All I'll say is right now, neither viewpoint can be proven correct before the event. We gotta let it play out. Set our planning factors and let shit play out, then come back and revisit around a certain time, which will be August 16th, the day after the event. We'll know what time it is. But what is clear, crystal clear, is that the card has become a case study. And how combat sports continue to evolve for the better or the worse, we won't know until the fight, till the event happens, and the next day doing a hot wash and just kind of rehashing all the shit that happened, good and bad. But I'll say this for Clarissa Shields, aka Big Vote, Rissa the Vote. The night will likely be judged on more than the outcome of the fight itself. People are going to be examining audience response, media coverage, business performance, audience retention after the Tasiki and Big Legs fight, and whether the event strengthened or reshaped her public brand. But we just have to wait and see. That being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.